Shalom, I'm Rabbi Garfinkel, and I welcome you to the Ask My Rabbi Show, the interactive video blog that gives you the opportunity to ask anonymous questions about Judaism and to receive life advice from a Jewish perspective. Today's question concerns Judaism's beliefs about the origins of human life. The question is, what would the Jewish world have to say about the Creation Museum in Petersburg, Kentucky? How does our view of creation differ given that they incorporate so much of the Old Testament into their positions? For those of you who aren't familiar with the Creation Museum, it is a museum that is based on the idea that the world is only about 6,000 years old. This is a calculation based on the genealogies of the book of Genesis, and it is one that is shared by many fundamentalist Jews and Christians alike. The Creation Museum purports to be a museum of natural history, but instead of following the timeline established by science, it follows the timeline of the Bible and squeezes things like dinosaurs into that 6,000-year history. Stories like the Garden of Eden and Noah's Ark are depicted as actual historical events. To learn more about this curious institution, I recommend going to their website at www.creationmuseum.org. Now, what would the Jews have to say about it? I think it would depend on whom you ask. Ultra-Orthodox so-called black hat Jews would approve highly of the museum and agree with its premise, which comes straight out of an Aggadic work known as Seder Olam. It has become de rigueur in ultra-Orthodox circles to believe in these young Earth theories. When asked about dinosaur bones and radioactive carbon dating, they will say that the bones were placed there by God to test our faith in the Torah. As Rashi says, whatever. Now some, but not all, modern Orthodox Jews would hedge their bets and argue for a theory that supports both the Torah and science. They quote mystical Jewish texts that suggest our universe is just one of many that were created and destroyed in the distant past. They would also tend to throw their support behind the theory of intelligent design, which says that however the universe was created, God was behind every step. The majority of liberal Jews, including the conservative, Reform, and Reconstructionist movements, interpret the first chapters of Genesis as a metaphorical story that is intended to teach a moral lesson rather than history or cosmology. This is the belief that I subscribe to. The Torah teaches moral truth, not necessarily historical truth. Some of what the Torah relates probably has a historical basis, but there is no need for a Jew to interpret the Torah literally. In fact, the entire rabbinic tradition is based on the concept that we do not take the Torah literally. If we were to take the Torah literally, there could be no midrashic interpretations, no agadot, and most of what we call halakha, or Jewish law, would simply not exist. So there you have it. If you want to learn about natural history, go to a good natural history museum like the Field Museum in Chicago or the Museum of Natural History in New York. If you want to know how to be a good person, open the Torah. And that's the end of this episode of the Ask My Rabbi Show. I'm Rabbi Eli Garfinkel of Temple Beth El in Somerset, New Jersey. Shana Tova.